Open up the door!
As Halloween approaches, a Virginia family shows how they experienced a real living nightmare after a costume-clad trio gathered outside of their Alexandria, Virginia home earlier this week, demanding that the people inside let them in. At first, they rang the doorbell, knocked on the door, and shouted, "Either you come out or we come in." But then after that, it really escalated. The family says the trio attempted to force the front door open, break down a wooden fence in the backyard, slash through the deck screens, and then pound on the windows. At one point, the family says the trio shouted death threats and promised to return. Tonight, the family remains concerned.
Yo, if these are kids playing around, they don't know that.
And of course,
they're mostly facing 20 to 30 years in prison. This is attempted. This is why a lot of people are in the situation they are in. They don't know the laws. This is attempted home invasion and terroristic threats and a whole bunch of other charges they could pile up. You could wind up doing 30, 40, 50, 60 years in prison. All because on Halloween you want to joke around. And they broke a fence in the back. And they have video evidence. These guys think they can't get caught because they have a mask? Do y'all really think a mask is like the end all of everything? There are millions of people in prison now, and they had a mask on.
Of course, they want answers, including what legal rights they had in this situation. To discuss this and hopefully get some answers to that, let's bring in attorney Mark Reichel. Thank you so much for joining us for the second night in a row. Let's start with that question there, sir. What could this family have done in this situation? And if they genuinely were feeling threatened on their own property, does stand your ground rights apply here?
Each state varies, so every single state varies. Virginia, where that took place, and many others have, a stand your ground law, which means your home is your castle. So you can't really use deadly force. You have to use the amount of reasonable force necessary to repel whatever the danger is to you. However, okay, you can use deadly force when it gets to the point where they're either breaking the door down, breaking the window open, or really close to getting the door open. You can't really just do it if they're standing on the...
They would have got their head blown off. They lucky. They picked the right people that night. If they would have picked the wrong people, we would have been saying R.I.P. to them.
The porch, even if they're threatening you, obviously the first thing to do is call the police. So it has to be where they break it into the house somehow. So jiggling the door is probably not enough. Honestly, it's a terribly difficult legal call, but it's when they push it enough that you think they're going to...
My thing about, why was police never called? Like, did they catch it on a Ring camera and the family wasn't home and they seen it later on? Because it seems like these guys was threatening them and trying to open the door for a while. Why police didn't pull up behind them? Why wasn't a 911 call made? And it seems like a pretty suburban area. I don't know. I'm confused.
Get it open. You can fire away.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder whether or not this was something that was nefarious.
You heard what he said? You see right there where he have his hand and he's trying to jiggle the lock? There's a lawyer he's right there, the guy right there with the bow head, with the gray fade in the side. Yeah. He said you can blow them away as soon as you hear a jingle or a jiggle. So y'all out there, y'all remember that. You hear that jiggle, that jiggle, you just get the shooting.
If it was just a prank that was really poorly thought out. Either way, the Alexandria police chief hinting at the idea that this trio may soon face charges, including burglary, as well as criminal threats. So do you think, I just heard your first answer, perhaps not, they didn't cross the line. Do you think charges might apply here?
Oh, yeah. I do think it's absolutely all sorts of things. If you threaten someone to harm them, that's a criminal threat. Secondly, they were on the porch trying to break in, so there's an attempted break-in. If they really did slash a screen It's possible that it could be the burglary, nighttime burglary. So
Right.
I think they're absolutely going to, they'll be convicted if they're caught, I think, on these facts.
What would the defense be, you think? If they caught these three guys, they had to appear in a court of law. What do you think would be the right?
There's no defense for this. What's the defense? Oh, Your Honor, it was Halloween and we was watching The Purge and we just decided to practice on our acting skills and go out there and see if people would really believe our acting. I mean, that do sound like a good defense, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Right way for a defense attorney to handle it.
They're going to have to prove that these persons had the intent to really do these things. I think their lawyer's going to have to get a hold of them and make sure they don't speak about anything because it is so strange, even Alex. I noticed you noted.
That's the only thing that will put them in prison if they get caught and they start talking. If they get caught and they start talking, that's the only thing that will put them in prison because a jury might look and be like, wait a minute, they didn't never show their face, they never admitted that. They will have to prove a lot to prove that they are absolutely the ones that did it. They would need fingerprint, they would need some type of trail, digital trail, video trail, cell phone for them walking from that house to their home. They have to show that when they went to their house, police actually found the costumes. They will have to have a greater connection. Remember, y'all talking to somebody that's a court expert. You know what I'm saying?
There were some civilians or pedestrians walking through the street with dogs, so forth, and cars. So, and yet these people were speaking so loudly, you know, they know that everyone could hear them. It was strange how they would walk back and stand there like they wanted to be photographed and would say these words over and over, "We're your worst nightmare." It is certainly strange. They could absolutely be charged with a crime. And if they would have gone a little bit further, I think these people would have had the right to use their gun.
Well, you were right to point out the fact that there were other passerbys and civilians out. It doesn't look like this was in the dead of night. It looked like maybe, you know, at a
Yeah, because I'm watching the video and I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, why are people walking past the house? Why are cars, like, you see cars, like, constantly passing by? So these people have to be complete idiots or they just don't give a hell.
time where people are still walking their dogs. It makes me wonder about just the fact that they're wearing costumes and maybe perhaps it being so close to Halloween that this is something that people might just shrug off. Oh, it's just kids, you know, messing around, when really it could be criminals out there meaning to do harm.
And that's the danger of Halloween. That's why when Halloween come around, you know what I do? I try to stay my black ass inside. Because I know that on Halloween, because I was a kid growing up in New Jersey, in the hood, in Newark, New Jersey, Everton, New Jersey. I know what we did on Halloween. And the things that we did as a kid on Halloween in New Jersey, it was not nice. It was not nice. If you pass by my block on Halloween, I hope you should have said your prayers, because we wasn't nice, but we was kids from the hood. Halloween is a time where the good people are mixed in with a lot of the bad people, and the bad people we're able to disguise ourselves in a mix of the good people because it's Halloween. We just put a mask on. We put a mask on and we act like we a kid too. Trick or treat. I like that watch you got on your neck. Is that a watch or a bracelet? I don't know. I ain't go to middle school. But trick or treat.
Absolutely. Obviously, that's the great disguise to blend in, is to wear these horrible costumes. But they achieved their purpose. If they were trying to scare this person, they scared the rest of the nation. So.
All right, what do you think would be the advice that we could give to viewers out there? I mean, this video is circulating on the internet. We've been showing it, obviously, because it is just so disturbing. There might be people out there that are thinking about their own security at their own homes and wondering, my God, I hope that never happens to me. What advice should we be giving them if they find themselves in a situation like this?
Blow their heads off. That's the only advice you need to get. Don't worry about what he talk about. If this happens to you, if you are home and you are a legal firearm carrier, you make sure you do not take your finger off the trigger until you hear silence when criminals are coming to invade your home. thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one, man. I see that y'all. I love the comments y'all give me, man. Thank y'all. I used to get it, on TikTok. They still got death threats, but YouTube is treating me okay. It's a few people that don't like me, but it's okay. It's part of being a commentator. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. And like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. No, deeply disgusted.